everyone, it's Julia. And as you all know, I do my transformation work with women as a transformation coach. And so today I've brought on a very special guest, my favorite person ever, Miss Ania Wazny. And so today we're going to be talking about Anya's transformation journey. So beginning last May, Anya and I embarked on a 6-month journey together in the depths of transformation. We started, we're not even talking from point A to point B. We're talking ups, downs, swerves, curves, all of it. So today I've invited Anya on to share a little bit about what happened for her and the transformation that she has, where she started and where she was in the middle point and where she ended. And was that where she thought she would be? We're going to find out. So Anya, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone? Tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and what you're working on now.
Hey, Julia, thank you for having me. It's an absolute pleasure. I'm Anya, and I'm a lot of things, and that's what I discovered through coaching. But if I have to describe myself professionally, I am an entrepreneur, I'm a hairstylist, and I am also now what I consider myself a coach for other hairstylists who would love to empower themselves into running a self-fulfilled and empowering business. But all the tools that you really just don't learn on and in hair school. So
awesome. Absolutely awesome. And for those of you who don't know, I also, way back in the day, have gone through hair school and had a 5-year hair career. So this journey and this new mission that Anya is on speaks directly to my heart. So exciting to hear that. So let's dive in. And the first thing I'd love to know from you, Anya, is what did you think you were signing up for when you said, you know what, this year I want to dive into some coaching. I want to see what it's going to do for me. What did you think you were signing up for?
I think I was thinking I was going to fix myself. That really, I think, is an approach a lot of people have. And I reached a breaking point where I said, I am so tired of spinning my wheels and repeating these patterns, these awful, awful habits that are really making me feel so awful. And I just felt like the needle was really standing still in my progress in life, and I wanted something in my life that was just going to move the needle forward. So coaching was it a natural next step? I was on this high where I was like really wanting to make a difference, and you know what? I acted on my gut telling me just go for it, go do this. Although before this was probably like a year of contemplation.
Awesome.
Until I finally decided to.
I'm so glad you did. And that's a great way of describing it. That stuck feeling, just hanging out at a certain spot, the needle isn't moving. And when we are an entrepreneur, and those of you who are also entrepreneurs, you know that when you stop taking action, that's when you start to see the reflection in your bank account. You start to see the reflection in the clients, the people that you're serving. So it starts to get stagnant pretty quickly. And that initial, it can be the smallest little action, but as soon as you take action again, things start to start chugging along. So amazing. Before we dive into this and talk about your original intentions for coaching and transformation work, I'm just curious, how did you hear about this idea of coaching or transformation or journeying? Where did you first start to hear that?
Well, I think I've been on a self-help journey for a long time. So it's also always been in my world, but in a very unreachable way where I didn't think it was something for me or something, many roadblocks. Like I didn't think I could afford it. I thought it was for like really developed business people. I thought it was going to cost me like $20,000 to $30,000. And it really came into my world when I met you and Ricky for the first time. I had never met a life coach before. And that, I guess, friendship started to show me that it was in the realm of possibility for me to receive coaching.
Mm.
So yeah, when I met you and Rick, you're the first life coaches that I met. And you were like, like celebrities that you meet in real life. You're like, oh, these people are real and they're very approachable and I could talk to them and they're not selling me anything. Or they're not selling me something that I don't think I can reach myself. So I really loved your approach, and I don't have much experience with other life coaches, but it was a very positive meeting and influence that it really inspired me.
Yeah, beautiful. And thank you for that. I have to agree that the approachability piece is really important. When you look at something like this, when you're going deep, when you do deep coaching and not just the sort of surface goals of A, B, C, and D, you that feeling of not being sold to, or that feeling of it being genuine, is really incredibly important. So absolutely, I'm glad to hear you say that. So tell me then, when we first decided to work together, what were your original intentions for diving in? And I mean, you mentioned that you were stuck, but
Mhm.
what else? Build on that for me a little bit.
I was actually in a very good place in my life. Um, I was in a good place, and I was doing good work. And then I went from doing good work to doing great work. And
Mm.
I just found when I did the good work, did I get great results? No. When I did great work, I got good results. And I just knew if I did excellent work, that the results would be outstanding. So I was stuck at like good and great.
Mm.
And my business was good. I was making great income. I was living a great lifestyle. But my relationships were suffering, and I noticed it uncovered a lot of my own suffering that was holding me back, limiting beliefs. And I became aware of these, and I knew that I needed support to work through them.
Wow, beautiful, awesome. That That right there, I think you nailed it. That deeper level, right? That
Mhm.
going from good, great, but to excellent, but that deeper level of, hey, my relationships, hey, my own inner suffering. Amazing,
Mhm.
amazing. So let's bring it back to maybe the first couple of months. What did you notice that started to change for you in those first 2 to 3 months of your coaching journey?
This I would always be very wary of presenting to people because it could be a turn off, but it was
An
really
important one, though.
it was difficult. Um, I think I did you sign up for it and you don't really you have like an idea, like you paint this picture, it's gonna be so great, I'm gonna transform, and then you get into it, it's emotional. And I was thinking about it this morning, and the way I would describe it, it's like moving into a new house and you have a really unpleasant garden and you've got to turn that soil.
Yeah, that's a great
And
way.
the first few months we were just turning that soil, and I
Mm.
would like it was like having my morning coffee and like standing at the window and looking at that soil and being like, what an ugly mess.
Oh.
How is this ever going to turn into a beautiful blooming garden? So it would be difficult because I had to you don't even you don't even start your gardening, like you have to turn that soil
Yep.
to get the good stuff from underneath. And I just there it was just such a mix, and it was difficult, but it was really beautiful because I was discovering so many things that I knew were going to empower me to
Mm.
know. It was
Mhm.
going to be like a self knowing that would allow me to unknow a certain part
Mhm.
of myself that I had come to believe was me.
Yeah.
So I just look at it like my life being like this horrible mishmash of a garden, and slowly turning the soil
Yeah.
of my inner work.
I think that's a great way to describe it. A garden, and the preliminary stages of, hey, where am I gonna make this garden? How big is it gonna be? Look at that soil. Look at that big rock over there. Like, we gotta deal with all of that. And
Hmm.
your point of a deeper knowing, of actually truly knowing some, and not all of those truths are ones that you wanted to know, or you thought were there, or feel particularly comfortable. So it is a bit of a journey, and having support to do that, like you said, can be paramount. Absolutely.
Exactly. If I was looking at that all by myself without the support, and I think that's where it's different with the coaching. We might touch on this later, but I think a lot of people say, "Oh, I know myself.
Mm,
I know that I have a tendency to um, procrastinate, or I know I have a tendency to get jealous." Yeah, it's great to know that on a surface level, but it's even better to know why you do those things and how to then learn how to turn them off.
and work with them, right? They can become your
Yeah,
friends, it's not a good or
exactly.
a bad thing. It's about learning how to work with them instead of, pissed off at that rock in the garden when, when you can be like, look how cute it is over there. And we just got to work around it.
Yeah.
And
Maybe we can repurpose that.
we can repurpose that beautiful rock. Absolutely. So, okay. So the beginning started a little whoa.
Yeah.
And then as you move through, what would you say, what have you realized about you in this journey, in, kind of in that middle ground, coming nearer to the end? What have you realized about yourself?
That I actually have a lot of power over
Mm,
where my life is going, where my thoughts are going, how I'm choosing to perceive things in my life, and knowing how I've been perceiving things and where my belief system was really coming from and where my belief system needs to come from to navigate my life towards the goals that I really want for myself.
mm,
I could either continue to recreate the patterns of the past of family members, even friends, and everybody who's, I've like everybody's life who I've taken a little piece from
yeah.
and their belief system throughout my life and started, and up until our coaching kind of held it as my own beliefs and discover what my own are. And now I feel like I am, navigating my life from my own heart center.
That could make me cry. I love that. I mean, but really though, like the freedom that's in that sentence that you said, to navigate my life from my own beliefs, what are
Mhm.
really mine, like the freedom that is around that is huge, is huge. Okay, so that being said, what would you say the biggest shift that you had? I mean, you touched on a few big ones right there, but what would you say the biggest shift is that you had in your personal life and the biggest shift you had in your business life?
Okay. Well, I mean, it all stemmed. I mean, the grass, like the thing that is at the center of it all, is self forgiveness.
Mm,
And by being able to have self forgiveness in every single moment of my life, that's what's helped me to move past certain habits, certain behaviors in my relationships. I used to find myself to be very insecure, jealous, possessive, and that could be with romantic relationships
yeah.
and friendships as well. It would trickle into everything. I figured out how to repurpose those feelings, as you said, like repurposing that rock, and you know figuring out where that was coming from and where it still comes from, because I'm not perfect.
Mm,
That's not like the end goal. I still have those feelings, but they're less and less. In my business, as I said, I'm navigating from like an inner belief of what I want. Like it's so easy for me to see what I want. And I mean, everybody would love this, but I mean, I've doubled my income this year, for instance. And do I really think that's because my hair skills have improved? No, because a lot of yes, because I'm able to tap into my creativity a lot better and
yeah.
work from a place of confidence, which also comes into that relationship piece of feeling insecure. I feel so secure now that I'm believing that I deserve everything I've ever wanted.
Mm, oh,
And so it's easy to reach for it when I know what it is and there's nothing there saying you can't, you don't deserve, you can't have.
yeah.
And especially money mindset is a huge, huge setback for so many people that I come across in my own conversations in business with other females. And I feel like I am constantly breaking through those limiting beliefs. And so I am here at the end of my year. And the goal that I set for myself in January, just like I am, I'm surpassing it
Yeah.
financially. And I know that I'm going to be in a really great place next year and for the rest of my life. And I'm not going to feel like that's a bad thing. I used to think that was
No.
a bad thing.
Yes, awesome. Those are like magic. That's magic right there. And when I think of what you're doing with your new business, and we're going to talk about that soon,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to give that gift to stylists who are either just coming out of school or who are also finding themselves stuck where you were, to be able to have that gift to just launch them back on track is going to be amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Absolutely.
So we talked about your intentions at the very beginning, and you just mentioned, the goal you had set for yourself in last January, you're far surpassing it now. In your original intentions for your coaching work, do you feel like you achieved those at the end of our work together, or had they changed by the end of that?
My intentions with you and I,
Mm-hmm.
um, did they change? Oh, probably, because like my entire idea of what this coaching was going to be and what it became,
Yeah.
I thought there was going to be an end. And I thought that 6 months would be up and it'd be over. And I think I didn't realize that that's what I thought until I kind of got into the middle and
Mm-hmm.
I, started to get towards the end and I said, I never want this to stop. So that's I think the biggest intention that changed is that this was going to be a 6 month commitment. And now I realize it's a lifelong commitment to
I
myself.
love that. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. And it is, because now you've tapped into, how do I find the truth? How do I, I
Hmm.
can always be sort of restructuring that garden, and something can always work just a little bit better here for me, and a little bit awesome. Absolutely. So would you recommend doing, like, to others to do this journey? You feel like it's a
Oh,
good one?
absolutely. I feel like it's a fantastic journey. I'm so a cheerleader for any type of coaching.
Mm-hmm.
I think you just need to do it. Like, you need to forget about all the things you think are holding you back from it, all the reasons you think it's not for you, and just step into it, because all those things, all those reasons you're creating is just, that's not you. The real you, the you that really wants to be on the other side of all those things, really wants this. And there's really nothing stopping you.
Yeah.
Nothing. And
Awesome.
I recommend it to everyone for that purpose. What we mentioned before is, you think you know yourself, like you really think you do. And yeah, you can know your tics, you can know your bad habits, you can know that, you can very clearly see the things that are ruining certain relationships for you, that are ruining your self-love, but you need
Yep.
to uncover them. Knowing them and uncovering them are two different things.
They really are, aren't they? And the support that we touched on, this idea of what coaching is, or transformation work is really the idea around peer support. And
Hmm.
when you can hold space for someone, to allow them to have these conversations with themselves, and keep them focused, keep them directed in that space where you're always moving forward, and you're not getting stuck and wallowing in the same thing over and over and over and over again. It's
Exactly.
it's huge. So tell me a little bit more about your new business. We've got your t-shirt on there. I don't know if you can show everybody there. Beauty business culture. It's coming. It's coming. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, I have to say, the best thing about coaching has been is that support piece. And people say, well, couldn't you have done this on your own? Like, I've tried to do this with a book, I've tried to do this with exercises, I've tried to do it by doing so many different things, but the constant support and almost like that navigation from a support system really helps you to get where you need to be going. And I didn't know at the beginning. I knew I had a love for teaching, I knew I had a love for supporting others. And talking about that repurposing piece is, I knew I was a people pleaser. I wanted to be everything for everyone, and I figured out how to repurpose that through my coaching, is in a way that I can give back to my industry, to other women, um, like, to let them see that their dreams are attainable, and basically just female empowerment. So I teamed up with a friend, and now we've created and are in the process of creating a community, a tribe, where hairstylists, beauty professionals can go to receive the business coaching that wasn't present at the onset of their career. And I'm not just talking about, like, it's marketing and social media,
Mhm. Yep.
topics that, maybe hairstylists shy away from, but are so important in growing your business. But also just that kind of incubation, warm feeling of support
Mm.
tied into it that, you're just not going to get from a book, um, or just a video, but just having that one-on-one support to empower.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. That warm incubation feeling is that's the best way to describe it. That support and team feeling or team effort and component where, hey, what you tried something and it didn't quite work out, but you've got this team to come back to talk to them about it. What went wrong? How can I tweak this? And it's okay. That is invaluable as a student, but also as someone who's been doing it for a little while and they get stuck and they're just sort of chugging along by themselves. And as you know, entrepreneurship can be really lonely. So it's important to have that support. So beautiful, beautiful business and idea. And I know that when I was in hair school, I would have loved to have had that empowerment for myself. And I see it in my friends who are still working in the salon, and they're working with people that aren't necessarily the ideal environment for growth, and to encourage young women and young men that they can go off and do it on their own. They can build something on their own if they want to, and it doesn't need to look just like this. And I think that is probably one of, as we keep coming back to the repurposing, it doesn't have to look like a rock. It can look like a stool. It can look like a seat. It can look like a table. There are so many ways to use something that when we're on our own, we wouldn't necessarily think of. So that's really exciting. So is coaching a tool that you and your friend will be using in your new business?
Yes, Christine and I are absolutely using coaching. As I mentioned, it's just giving that support to help people move from point A to point B in their business, maybe being that, that outside eye to tell, individuals what's working, what isn't working for them, where they can maybe make some changes or repurpose some items in the way that they are running their business. I think that could be very useful. I think we can get very stuck, just like we get stuck internally. We just get so comfortable with a certain type of feeling, even though the feeling isn't serving us any longer. I think we get used to certain practices in our business that are comfortable, but they're not serving us and leaving us feeling very depleted, overwhelmed, resentful, like all these really ugly feelings that for us as beauty professionals, we need to be creative. So we
Mm-hmm.
need to nurture that light, that good feeling, that place of growth where we just get unstuck. So yes, marketing, social media, business development, all of that, but it's just helping people get unstuck,
Yeah.
into a really powerful place in their business. And I think people will have so much self-discovery and self-empowerment over just seeing what they're able to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just listen to how you spoke about and the way you spoke and how watching your face speak about it, and it just lit up about realizing, hey, look at all this potential that I have. And those goals, yeah, they're not too lofty. They're achievable. I can do it. And you know what? I'm gonna open another business. I'm like, you can do what you want to do. And having that team or that support system, it's gonna be paramount for. So tell us where we can find you. Tell any of the stylists out there who might be watching, or anyone who would love to come get their hair done by you, because she is
Ooh.
amazing. Absolutely. And so share with us where we can find you on your social media and where we could learn a little bit more about your business journey as it's growing.
Well, our business coaching business is called Beauty Business Culture.
Okay.
And you can find us at www.beautybusinessculture.com, as well as on social media at Beauty Business Culture. Beauty Business Culture. Yeah. And if you professionally, I am on social media as Ania Wazny Creative. And you can
Okay.
find me there.
Beautiful. Thank you, Anya, so much for coming and sharing your journey about where coaching and transformation work took you, all the way from the beginning to the end, and who you were then and who you are now. And would you say that that person who you are now is actually just a lot closer to who you've always been deep down inside?
I'm the same person. I'm just who I was meant to be all along.
All along. Beautiful. So for those of you, again, who are looking to hear more about Anya and
Yep.
Christine and their new business, check them out on social media. And if you want to learn any more about transformation work or coaching journeys, check me out. Of course, you're either seeing this on YouTube or on my Facebook page. You'll see links in the comments for both of us. And thank you so much for tuning in and learning a little bit more about what it means to go through a transformation journey. Thanks very much. Bye.
Bye.